The Latenode platform allows interaction with websites created using the Framer service. No nodes are needed for interaction except for the trigger on Webhook node. Let's create a scenario that will write the email address entered in a site form to a Google Sheet cell. First, we'll use Framer to create the form, an authorization field for the email address, and a confirmation button. Let's start by creating the form. In the workspace, add a new project. In the new project, add an element by adding code. In the Create Code File window, enter a name, keep the New Component option selected, and click Create. You can delete the default code and add your own. Once the code is added, press Ctrl+S to save it. On the right side of the interface, the form with text instructions, an email input field, and a confirmation button is displayed. The main part of the code is the URL constant of the form. We need to specify the URL address of the trigger on Webhook node. Next, let's configure the scenario on the Latenode platform. Click the button to add a new scenario and add the first trigger node. The trigger on Webhook node starts the scenario after a request is sent to the node's URL address. If needed, you can change the URL address. Copy this address and add it to our code in the Framer service. Now, when the button is clicked, the request with the entered email value should be sent to the trigger on Webhook node. That is, this address. Let's return to the scenario. Let's test the added interaction. Run the node once. Now the node is waiting for the event to occur. Let's return to the form. Enter a test email value and click the authorization button. A message tells us that we have successfully registered. Return to the Latenode platform. The trigger on Webhook node has successfully executed. One of its output parameters is the value we entered in the email field. Let's try to write the specified value to a Google Sheet cell. Add another node. An action node from the Google group will do. A node for adding a row will work. Perform authorization. The authorization may already exist. If it doesn't, click the New Authorization button and authorize with your existing Google account. Select the desired Google Sheet, the desired Sheet tab, and define the value to be recorded in the Google Sheet. In the Helper window, you can select the email, one of the parameters of the trigger on Webhook node, and save the changes. To test, run the entire scenario once. The trigger node is waiting for the event to occur. Return to the form. Refresh it. Enter a new test email address. And click the button. We successfully registered again. Look at the scenario. The scenario executed successfully. And the node tells us that the value was written to the Google Sheet. Let's check the Google Sheet. The value was successfully added. Let's try again. Run the scenario once. Refresh it. And send it. The scenario executed successfully. Look at the Google Sheet. The value was added. To avoid running the scenario manually each time, just activate it. Then it will run automatically as soon as a request is sent to the URL address of the trigger on Webhook node. Thus, we created a scenario that records values from a form created on the Framer platform into a Google Sheet. Thanks for watching and happy automating!